Hey guys, what's going on? So last time I showed you guys how to install virtual machines using VirtualBox. This time I'm gonna show you kind of like how like a little bit more when it comes to actually setting it up because I don't believe I actually went through it that great. Okay, so I kind of did. I just did it Ubuntu. But this time I'm going to be doing something that some people actually might want to do a little bit more, which would be using an older version of Windows. Like for instance, I'm going to be using Windows 7. I already had one, if you guys remember. Um, oh wait, no, I didn't have it in that video because I had to switch everything over. But anyway, I've added a few since then. And if you look at this page, I've got a bunch of different ISOs and even a VMD, which I still have to test. So we're going to be using Windows 7. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is. I think it's Ultimate, perhaps. So anyway, um, I'm going to go ahead and put this there. Maybe doing Win 7. And we will go ahead and find the ISO. I'm gonna do ultimate. I think it's just a generic ISO. Um, if it wasn't, usually it doesn't let you pick the edition. So I'm just gonna do ultimate. Can override. Probably because I have a virtual machine already in there with the same name because I actually just deleted mine because I didn't have anything on it. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the normal stuff. I'll go ahead and do 8 gigs, 4 cores. I'm gonna just do 1 terabyte for the hell of it. And then as usual, it'll automatically boot up. It's for some reason it's like a Windows thing. It will boot up Windows like immediately, but for everything else it just stays. I did try Windows 8.1, but I needed a product key, and I'm not searching the internet for a product key. However, I was able to get Windows 8, so I've got that. And the downloading file that's in here right now is actually for Windows 98. So I'm going to be looking at that. Really, I'm just using VMs to kind of mess around with older versions of Windows, especially ones that I haven't used in decades. Um, like Windows 7. I haven't used Windows 7 in, man, how long has it been? My original laptop in school was a Windows 7, so that would have been seventh, like sixth or seventh grade, because all the school computers were Windows 7. And then when Windows 8 came out, they never updated. Which actually, when did Windows 8 actually come out? 2012. And they didn't update, my school didn't update their Windows until after we left back in 2013. So it's been 10 years, honestly, since I've really messed around with Windows 7. I mean, I already had a virtual machine, but I didn't screw around with it I've just been, the only thing I did was download Chrome. But this is also good for other people that want to learn more about how Windows used to operate and how it is different now. Um, for people who haven't used Windows 7 but knows what the GUI looks like, you know how different, all this is compared to how it used to be. And depending on what you're doing, like in school, like if you're in college or something, uh, they might have you create virtual machines, which actually one of my classes did, which is why I've gotten into making these. Uh, they wanted to use Azure or Azure, however you pronounce it. It's through Microsoft and Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services. But for some of that, you have to pay for it, and for the others, it's like a free trial. Um, so I just decided to make my own so I can use those instead, just because it's easier instead of having to mess around with everything else. So I literally decided after those assignments that I would just create my own. One thing I still have yet to really get working is Mac. Mac is like the uh it's like VirtualBox's kryptonite, which actually I ended up uh just saving um for Mac the CMD commands that you have to put in. So I have those for when I start messing with it again, which actually will be in a little bit after I'm done making this video because I want to get Mac working. Now, there is a difference between the ISOs and the VMDs. The VMDs are already made disks, while the ISOs are just the normal installation, which is how I started doing this one. Um, so for the ISOs, you create your own virtual disk, while the VMDs, the virtual machine disks, are already preloaded. Um, I wanted to try Mac OS High Sierra, and I need to redo Mac OS Big Sur or Sure, however you pronounce it. Um, Big Sur is something I've already messed around with. I haven't messed with High Sierra yet. Um, I did try it earlier when I had it, and it wouldn't boot up. So I'm gonna try it again and see if I change something, if it'll work. However, I kind of doubt that. I might have to see if I could get another ISO for that. But that is actually also why you see Transmac right there, because I was trying to make a bootable uh, Mac OS drive, and I could not get that to work, which is kind of understandable because I'm trying to boot it on a Windows machine. But what I also was trying to do was on my partitions, I shortened this, had a new one. I was going to try and install Windows on there, but it wouldn't let me. I also tried installing it. Oop. I also tried installing it on my external SSD. It still didn't work. And then it should just boot right into Windows. And then, as usual with the Windows things, you are going to have to install the guest edition, which I will show as soon as I get into the desktop. All right, so I'm in the desktop, and see, it's weird because I've never been able to get this past this this resolution, but I'm gonna go ahead and try anyway. Should have it here. Yep. Run guest edition. And because I'm so used to Windows 10 and 11, I'm so used to seeing a notification over here, but it's not going to show up there. So, oh, probably help if I actually installed it. I forgot there's multiple of those pop-ups. So, when you're installing it, just go ahead and always trust so that you don't have to keep doing it over and over, or else it's going to get a little annoying. I'm going to go ahead and let it reboot. I'm also going to see. I didn't change that, so when it reboots, I'm going to go ahead and close this out and change those settings. So I went to settings, display. I enabled 3D acceleration so I can get 256 megabytes instead of 128. Make sure all this is good. All right, everything's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and boot it back up. Yeah, whatever. Oop, did not want to do that. Oh, there we go. So now I have a full 1080p screen. So it did let me change it up top. So another thing too is if you really want to be nostalgic, you can take off the arrow and go back to the original Windows 7, which are transparent and the funky buttons, which I never minded them, but I do like the basic. Because if I remember, the basic was more for like performance or something. So, not many people will be running Windows 7 with a 9700K or 8 gigabytes of RAM. The graphics would be atrocious because it's not. Let's see if this even runs, because the last time I tried this, it crashed. Um, but it's just the basic virtual machine graphics. I don't think I'd be able to get the video graphics drivers for this. That would be something I would want to probably mess around with, though, so I can see how it would actually work if I were to do it. But let's just see what the performance ratings are. So a little fact: if you misclick and hit properties while this is going, it's gonna freeze up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just close this, and then I'll screw with it later. But anyway, that is how you would get something like Windows 7 onto a virtual machine. And for ISOs, I either get it from Internet Archive or Where Data. This is actually where I got the Ventura, which I had originally when I was first doing all this. And then Internet Archive pretty much has just about every ISO. There's also, more legit sites. But but this is where I got mine. So if you just type in, actually, so you can see it, this is where the search bar is at. And then I'm just going to type in Windows 7 ISO. And you can literally, well, you could most likely just download this one, because this seems like it's generic. Or this one might be a little bit better because this one's actually by Microsoft. If this Microsoft is legit, then all these should be like, you should be able to get them working. But anyway, yeah. So if you want to enjoy some VMs using VirtualBox, I'm not promoting VirtualBox. I'm just saying that it's good to use because it's free and you can run as many as you want. And for what it is, it actually runs fairly well. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you all enjoyed, let me know down in the comments. Also, drop a comment down below if there's any other type of OS that you might want to see me try to install. Because I can always try to find an ISO for whatever it is and see if I can get it working beforehand. And then I can go ahead and do the installation process for a video. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If I can get Mac to work, then I will do another video on how to get Mac. But for now, that's going to be it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.